You up next. O'Carty Johnson is an American cellist-songwriter who performs under the moniker OK Cello. His artistry integrates cello performance, live sound looping, improvisation, and storytelling, all culminating in original compositions that collide classical with jazz, EDM, reggae, and funk. Let's give it up Henderson style for OK Cello.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Y'all excited to celebrate Juneteenth? So am I. Thank you so much for having me out here. This is my first time performing in, watch this, y'all, Henderson, Nevada. Did I do that right? Yeah, Nevada. I was saying Nevada earlier, and I got schooled. Said, no, it's not that. It's Nevada, right? Sweet. Again, my name is O'Carty Johnson. I'm a cellist. I'm a looper. I'm an improviser, and I'm a storyteller. And my work is largely informed by my personal relationship to the African diaspora. So I'm going to demonstrate all that for you in just a minute. I'm going to start by playing one song called Fire. If I play it correctly, you should imagine a small flame going into a towering inferno and coming back down again. But actually, before I do that, I'm going to play another song, and I think most of you will recognize it and will know what to do. So here we go. So did y'all see the small flame grow into a towering inferno and come back down again? Great, that means we're off to a good start. We're off to a good start. Y'all are a great crowd. I'm loving this. This is a wonderful way to be welcome to Henderson, y'all. I'll definitely try and come back, y'all. Thank you. So I'm going to ask for your help. I'm going to ask for your help several times throughout the show, but this is perhaps the most important one. So I'm a cellist, and a looper. I don't know if many of you can see, but there's a small gray box at my right foot here, and it allows me to record myself playing live, to then play back what I just recorded, to play with what I just recorded, and to record me playing with what I just recorded ad nauseum. So I can make it feel like there are 15, 20, 3,000 cellos up here. It won't sound very good after 10, but I can make it feel like it's full. And I think sometimes my looper gets a little jealous because it feels like I get all the praise and it does all the hard work. So will you do me a favor and just give my looper a round of applause right now? We want it to feel good and loved and appreciated because we want it to work the entire show, because sometimes it's a little temperamental, right? So the other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce the looper, and more important, I'd like to introduce the relationship between the cello and the looper, because they are a match made in heaven, separated by hundreds of years of technology, but nonetheless made for each other. Now, the reason why I think that is because I think the cello is a cool, it's an amazing instrument. It's got this low end, right? Like... Right, so I can kind of play like a bass. I can pretend like I'm a high bass. Do you all know what a cajon is? Have you ever heard what a cajon is? A rectangular box. It's made of wood, and percussionists sit on top of it, and they play the surface in between their legs, and that surface has several different percussive sounds on it. Well, the cello, like a cajon, has several different percussive sounds on it. You can't sit on the cello, but it's like a cajon in other ways, right? So I've got this like bongo thing. Right? I've got that. I've got this. And I've also got this. Right? A little scratch, right? I've got all these percussive sounds on the instrument. But in addition to that, I've also got like this guitar. Right, so I've got that guitar in there. I've even got maybe kind of like an organ / cello / piano, like. Right, I've got all that in there too. And then finally, I've got this high end. That's kind of like a trumpet or a saxophone or maybe even just a voice, right? So. All that is in the cello, right? Right? Oh, thank you very much. But the thing about being a cellist is that you usually can only do one of those things at a time. But with the looper, I can put it all in one song, right? So let's start out with like, I usually start out with a bass line, but I feel like I want to do a bass line. What do we got? What do we got for a bass line? I'm also an improviser, so this entire part will be made up. We'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. So we got that. All right, so I'm going to put some. I just learned that the crew is from Maryland, y'all. I don't know if y'all know, there's a whole bunch of people from Maryland. And I don't know if y'all know anything about Maryland, but go-go is king in Maryland. I grew up in D.C. And so right now, I feel like there's a go-go beat in this right here. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe I want that boat. Little guitar part. See if we can put that in there, right? That's what I'm talking, right? We got a little nod to it. So now all it's missing is like a little like a melody. Why don't we try that? Just something simple, down the scale. So I got an entire little like rhythm section here, right? But now I'm gonna put some improvisation over top of it. Let's see what we got. Man, that's groovy. But I got more than just a looper. I've got a microphone. And the microphone's outside of my instrument, which means in theory I should be able to capture you, not just my cello. So maybe I can get y'all to like, woo! Can I get y'all to try that with me? Loud, y'all. Nice tail. A little bit louder. All right, this is the magic one. I'm going to record this one. Ready? See what we got. Oh, y'all a little quiet. Can y'all hear yourselves in there? Can I get it 4 times louder? 4 times louder? Y'all hear it? I might have to help y'all out. I'm gonna do it with y'all. Ready? There we go. There we go. More solo. Got more toys, right? So we got a little groove going. But let's say I just wanted to pull it back. Let's say I just wanted to kind of create a little drama. Pull the music out, right? Let's say I wanted to see y'all lean in on your seats, try and figure out where the music is going, right? It's almost gone. I mean, if I wanted it to be gone, I could just... But do we want it to be gone? Let's bring it back. I love the woo. One more button, super important button. I'm not going to tell you what it does, but you'll understand how important it is when I show you how it goes, right? It's a stop button. We need a stop button because that will go on and on and on and on and on and on. So that is essentially what my looper does. Can we give it a round of applause, please? It creates this experience. It creates this show for us. All right. So, I use all that. I'm a cellist. I'm a looper. I'm an improviser. And then finally, I'm a storyteller. So I try and take all of that I try and put it into a story that I can tell you, right? Since we're in D.C., I'm just going to stay in D.C. We're going to stay in D.C. We got, there we go. We're going to stay in D.C. I'd like to talk about something really important and kind of serious. It's something that I've been suffering with pretty much for most of my life. I imagine that many of you also have similar suffering from this very thing. And sometimes what I like to do in my shows is to create a little space for like public service announcements and to allow us to connect, right, on something that we have in common. So I'd like to talk a little bit about seasonal allergies. Show of hands, anybody out here have seasonal allergies? What? Right? I am so allergic to pollen, I feel like I start sneezing when people say the word. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that bad. When I was a kid, I remember my mom would lie me down in my bed and put cold compresses on my eyes and cucumbers, that kind of stuff. But the reality is, like, it didn't really help. And when I was a kid, I don't know about antihistamine. Did y'all have antihistamine when y'all were kids? I didn't have Claritin. I didn't have Allegra. Maybe your parents loved y'all differently. I don't know. No, my mom loved me really. I don't mean to say it that way, right? But I know that as an adult now, we have Claritin. I take Allegra. But in order for it to work, you have to take it like weeks in advance. So, and in Atlanta, I don't know if you all know anything about Atlanta. That's where I live. That's kind of my home now. Spring is like February 3rd, right? So if you don't start taking your Claritin or your Allegra in January, you're in trouble. So there was this one year where I started taking my Allegra like 2 weeks out, and then February rolled around and I was feeling good. Oh, God, I was feeling great. But I was thinking maybe it was a mild spring. Maybe there was something going on that, like, was a fluke. So I decided to test it. First thing I did was skip through freshly cut grass. Was doing just fine. I was like, all right, this is cool. Second thing I did was hug a tree. Was doing fine. Had a picnic in a garden. Was doing fine. Wait, I think some of y'all are my age, maybe a little older. Do y'all remember those commercials from the 80s, those aired extra dry commercials where you could do all those things without getting funky, like the tire swing and the horseback riding and the rolling down a hill? Check, check, check. All those things, and I'm feeling good. I'm like, what? This is amazing. I'm loving spring. And you know what people like to do who are artists? They like to write things about the things that they love, right? There's poems and novels. And so I just started to write a song, and it was going nicely. I enjoyed it. But I was going to say I couldn't come up with a title, but I did. It was a horrible title. Don't judge me. It was Springtime on Antihistamine. It was a bad title. I'm a family-friendly person, too, so the other title was Springtime on Drugs. That doesn't work, you know what I mean? But it was the year that Black Panther came out. Do y'all remember that? If y'all like Black Panther, what would you do? Show me how you like Black Panther. You remember this? Ooh, 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 right? Oh, I fell in love with Black Panther, but specifically I fell in love with Wakanda, right? It was in the jungle. It had this invisible kind of canopy going on. The technology, the people were amazing. It was urban. It was rural. It was everything. And all of a sudden, I realized that I had a title to my song. This is what it must feel like to experience springtime in Wakanda. So that's the song I'm about to play for you. And since we've already laid the go-go theme, if you have a problem with it, just let me know after the show. But I've claimed go-go as the official music of Wakanda. Here we go. Go-go. Little bass. There we go. Springtime in Wakanda, y'all. All right, so you may be asking yourself, why does he talk so much at a cello concert? There's a reason for that. I used to be an English teacher. Does that make sense? Everyone's like, there we go. There we go. That makes sense right now, right? I came of age as a teacher at a time when they were encouraging us not to be the sage on the stage, but to create student-centered experiences. So I like to do that for my audiences. I like to create audience-centered experiences, which means there is not a safe seat in my house. All of y'all can be part of the show at any point, right? So I'm going to ask for your help again. Maybe about 6 years ago, I got a chance to do this artist residency in Georgia, and North Georgia, with the Hambridge Center for the Arts. It's really wonderful. 2 weeks in the woods, nothing but music, nothing but writing. And I stumbled onto this chord progression that I fell in love with. I think it's beautiful. But I could not put a story to it, which is what I like to do. I like to put stories to my songs. But I like the song so much that I decided that I would keep it in my set. And I would ask my audience to come up with the story. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this chord progression, and then I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and to imagine a person, maybe a historical era, maybe a color, an animal, anything you'd like. And then I'm going to improvise over that progression. And then I'm going to ask you to consider what I'm playing as the soundtrack to the movie that's unfolding on the back of your eyelids. And then I'm hoping that you will remember it, and some of you will stand up and consider sharing the story with me in the concert. I know, absolutely unheard of, but it will be magical. I'm also a teacher, so I know I gave you a lot of instructions, so I'm going to break it into chunks. All right? So the first one is the progression. This is what it is, right? So... All right. Now, if you're so inclined, right, you don't have to do it if you don't want to, but if you're interested, I'd love you to close your eyes. Imagine a person or a place, maybe a historical era, a color, an animal, anything you'd like. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to improvise over this progression. And I hope it will be the soundtrack to a really interesting movie that you'll remember and maybe consider sharing with us. The name of this experience is called Storytime. No, that's it. That's it. That's the end. That was a pretty abrupt ending. Surprise ending, right? I was hoping that the ending would give your story some drama, right? Something going on, right? So this is an unorthodox request, I know, but is there anyone that would consider standing up and just sharing with us in maybe just a minute what their story was? You don't have to be shy. It's almost always a child that has the courage. Can we give her a big round of applause? Yes! Speak as loudly as you can. I'll hear it and repeat it if I need to, but I'd love just to hear what you were imagining. Oh, you and your mom walking through a rainforest. Suddenly, the ground started moving. You saw a rock up ahead, and was it coming towards you? Oh, wow. And you ran, and the rock was chasing you. Did you get away? Yay. All right, great story, great story. Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause. Excellent start to this experience. Thank you so much. Do we have anybody else? That would be... okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do one, and then you'll end us. Is that okay? So yes, your story, please. Yes? Little children running in the woods. Barefoot. They were chasing lightning bugs. River, lightning bugs. There we go. Uh-oh. Well, I'm going to recap. Children with nets in the woods.
It was like the redwoods. It was
redwoods.
Kind of dark green, and the children were in sundresses in summertime, and they were running barefoot, sort of like a ballet trot. And they had nets, and they were catching lightning bugs. And there was a rushing stream, and on the other side of the stream were horses, and they were prancing along at the same pace. And in the end, the lightning bugs were getting with that little fast part of yours.
Yeah.
They were being put into the little jars.
Okay.
Crazy. Yep, that's it.
Thank you very much. Wonderful, wonderful story. So this is one of my favorite parts of the show, right? Because we all experience the same song, but we all had very individual experiences. So we'll have this last story right here.
Hi. I called mine the Evening Swan.
Evening Swan.
And
yes.
A lady was in the woods with flowing clothes, and she was lost in the woods. And she was trying to find her way out of the woods.
Oh, wow.
And every time the music was like a jerk. She was like going the wrong way, and something turned her around. But I just saw this lady with light blue flowing, like clothing, and she was trying to find her way out of the woods.
Wow, beautiful. Thank y'all very much. Thank you. So there's some things I know from doing this song a bunch of different times. There are many, many more stories in the audience. Some people are not willing to share. But at my website, www.okcello.com, that's okcello, okcello.com, there's a page there entitled Story Time. If you go to that page, at the top of the page is a video of me playing that song. Below that video, there's a button. You can press that button, and then all of a sudden, it will open up a text box, and you can put your story in the text box. If you submit the story, it will join a long thread of stories from the last 5 to 6 years of people who have been in the audience when Storytime was playing. So thank you so much for sharing that. And if you have a story that you'd like to share, you can go to my website and do that. All right, so I've got 15 minutes, which means I've got 2 songs. All right, I'm going to do another odd thing, and I hope you all will be gracious. I'm going to confess something. Yeah, right? It's really like counterintuitive to confess something very deeply personal and sometimes a little embarrassing in front of hundreds of people. But it's my job, it's what I do, and I've committed to it. And I'm just going to ask for your grace again. I am in love with the theme to All in the Family. Wait, either y'all don't know what All in the Family is, or like the audience is too young. Do y'all know ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da? What are the lyrics? Those were the days. All in the Family was an amazing show in the 70s, right? It was satire, comedic satire, and it was making fun of Archie Bunker, who was a racist, who was a sexist, who was a homophobe, who just resisted any kind of important change that was happening in the country, and the world was leaving him behind, and his family was trying not to let him be left behind, right? And the satire started from the very first moment when Archie and Edith sat down at the piano and sang that song, right? Do you know the lyrics? They were guys were guys, girls were girls, we need another man like Herbert Hoover. You knew where you were then, guys like us had it made. Those were the lyrics. I cannot be a well-educated, self-loving, self-respecting black man in 2023 singing "Those Were the Days." That is problematic, right? However, in my defense, and I'm so glad that Woody Woods is coming up afterwards, because maybe he can kind of make this argument for me. It was written in the style of the American Songbook. The American Songbook of the 30s, 40s, and the 50s is and was jazz. Jazz is black music written by black Americans under duress in New York, in Chicago, in St. Louis, in Natchez, and all across the Mid-Atlantic, the Midwest, and the East Coast, right? And the evidence of that is this beautiful major pentatonic scale. Pentatonic scales are not super common in European music, but they are amazingly common in West African music. Major pentatonic scale, beautiful. So that's the reason why I fell in love with it. The thing is, on its own, I just can't sing it. It's out of context. So what I did was I stole it. I stole it, and I put it in an Afro-Cuban world. I wrote a song with this Afro-Cuban world, and then I wrote a sister melody, and the sister melody goes like this: these are the days. These are the days that we've been waiting for. These are the days, we are the ones. I put those two melodies in conversation in this Afro-Cuban world, and it feels completely different. And I've got a melody that I'd like you all to sing to participate in that. Will y'all sing with me once I get to that? Okay. Will y'all go on this trip with me? These are the days? All right, here we go. right, so the words are, these are the days that we've been waiting for. These are the days, we are the ones. I'm a cellist, not a singer, but here's how it goes. These are the days. These are the days that we've been waiting for. These are the days. These are the days, we are the ones. Will y'all sing that with me? These are the days. These are the days that we've been waiting for. These are the days. These are the days, we are the ones. Y'all sing it once by yourself, let me hear it. Now I just want y'all to listen for a second, right? I told you about that melody that I was ashamed to sing. I want you to hear how it sounds now. It's a completely different world, and it feels different to me. I hope it feels different to you. In a minute, I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to ask you all to sing, and it'll be a brand new world. Here we go. The old one. Did y'all hear it? Can y'all hear it one more time? Now, will y'all go back to singing These Are the Days? These are the days, yeah. These are the days that we've been waiting for. These are the days. These are the days, we are the ones. A couple more times by yourselves. Yeah. These are the days. These are the days, we are the ones. Keep singing it and listen. All the way, just us. These are the days, y'all. I'm going to play my last song and get out of here. My name is Corey Johnson. I perform under the name OK Cello. I'm out of Atlanta. I'm a cellist. I'm a looper. I'm a storyteller. I'm an improviser. And my work is inspired by my relationship to the African diaspora. Thank you. My last song of the night is called Liminal. It's my favorite word. It means at the intersection of borders, or it means in transition. It's a word I didn't know until I saw it in school, but it's been hiding in plain sight for all of us in the word subliminal, at the intersection of the conscious and the unconscious mind. As a kid, I grew up in a black middle-class neighborhood in Washington, D.C., and I traveled to a white prep school in the suburbs about 20-some miles away. Had to travel 90 minutes by public transportation in one direction. Often I felt like I was the only thing that those two worlds had in common. It's kind of lonely at times, difficult. I also grew up in a sports-playing family. My grandfather played football in the Negro Leagues, ran track during the wartime Olympics. I played basketball and tennis and soccer. We can talk about it after the show, but I actually come from a family of ice hockey-playing black folks, so interesting, right? But I played sports, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I can say that here, because what? Go ahead, Vegas Knights, right? Come on now. This is the only place in the world right now where I can really say that like loudly, right? But you know, I also played a lot of music. I had cello lessons and orchestra, and the cello people, the music people didn't understand the sports. They were like, why are you doing that? You're 5'5" and you're going to break your hands. And the sports people like, and really, what are you going to do with the cello? And even in the music world, I was really into Beethoven. Beethoven was like a classical rock star, right? But my real rock star is Prince. Prince, Public Enemy, Go-Go. I was into Paula Abdul, but that wasn't about the music, I don't think. Anyway, but when I think back to my childhood, I was in between worlds a lot, and it was awkward and it was uncomfortable. But I also think of it as the beginning of a superpower that I'm developing, of being comfortable in lots of different spaces, seeing beauty in lots of different communities, being able to speak power, speak truth to power in lots of different circumstances. And when I think of my childhood, I think of the word liminal, and when I think of the word liminal, I think of this song. Y'all, my name is Okori Okecello Johnson. I'm from Atlanta. I'm a cellist, looper, improviser, storyteller. Thank y'all.